Is your company too corporate to hire the best MSP staff? Are you alienating some of the best MSP candidates because you're interviewing and your style of communication and the sort of the values of your company are just way too corporate and not cool enough for the top tier tech talent and those techno wizards, computer geniuses that you want to hire? Watch this video for tips and tricks on how to make your company more appealing to these people and sort of like why your culture might alienate the best tech talent and why you might struggle where other MSPs that are a little bit more cool and calibrated towards the types of people that they want to attract to their company might be getting the best hires, while you're left with a bunch of people who are just following orders, even though you might think they're good candidates. The best ones are going elsewhere because you just don't know how to interview, hire, and attract and retain the best tech talent. So I'm a dude standing in Mexico right now. I started this company supported venture that I own, and helping MSPs and this MSP Mountain podcast because of my dude's dream. Me as a dude, I want to live in different countries around the world so I could explore different possibilities of human culture and interaction and cool stuff. Also, I was a musician, interested in lots of different things around the world, fascinated by the world in general. Whereas it's a little bit of a contrast to the typical corporate culture where people who are attracted to that sort of like business city. I started Supported Venture because I wanted to escape living in London and Toronto, these business centers that I previously lived in. Not that those places don't have lots of arts and culture, they do, but the business culture there is very corporate. And what I mean by corporate is you have people on this sort of like corporate rat race where they want to achieve as much success as possible and they want to appear as professional as possible. They want to fit this perfect image of material success. And there's a lot of people like me in the IT industry, specifically the IT industry, that doesn't really motivate us. We're in this because we're fascinated by stuff. We're not chasing after wealth in the same way that a lot of people in the corporate game do. Like the reason why a lot of people want to become lawyers, for example. We become techies because we have a natural inclination to be curious about the world and to get our hands dirty and make results happen. It's a very honest business. We don't care what you think of us. We care about what value we can provide in terms of tangible results. And so a lot of the time, this corporate culture that you find in the world, in business, is kind of at odds with what our values are. Us techies who are, super smart at contributing, ideas and fixing problems and building stuff, writing code, all this sort of stuff, and being the best people who can staff your technical operation. And a lot of us pretty much view the business world as a bunch of normies, a bunch of people who are so concerned about how they look, how much money they're making, which car they're driving, and all this sort of stuff. Whereas we're actually concerned with what we consider more the essence of life, how things work. Various different topics. We're concerned with how things feel as well, culture, people, relationships, and not all that little, normie nonsense where, people get drilled into their head from a early age, to do this, you have to get this degree and be successful so you make this money and buy this house, and then everybody will think you're successful and then you're a good person, and if you don't, you're going to be a failure. Us techies are not motivated by that, and typically we do not follow that script. So if you have a culture in your company which is focused towards that, you will likely fail in comparison to a company that actually speaks to us and our values more. So this is an industry of dudes. Basically, I don't know how to say it any better. We are an industry that is driven by dudes and different people, men and women who don't fit in that box of like corporate culture, who think outside the box, and thus they can design systems that run the box. So these dude vibes are very important. And urban legend has it that the CIA cannot hire the sort of people that they want to hire because those people will not. The most intelligent development and hackers and all the stuff that the CIA wants to hire cannot pass the CIA drug test. That's something that you hear a lot in the industry, that yeah, they won't pass the drug test. And you know, it's just like could be true, could not be true, probably has a little bit of truth to it, I don't know. But anyways, we constantly see it in the industry with MSPs that want us at Supportive Venture to hire people for them. Is their approach is too corporate, and these people are highly in demand. They have 2 or 3 different offers, and they won't pick the one that's like corporate business. They'll pick the one that asks them, who's your favorite superhero? So yeah, these corporate companies tend to be too spiffy, focused on numbers, results, and success. It's all about the profits. It's all about the growth. It's all about the neat presentations that look aesthetically pleasing. It's all about the language, the marketing, the way of convincing people that you know, all the appearances are kept up and that everything's correct, and you know that you know, everyone appears clean and sort of like well manicured and presentable and all this stuff. Kind of at odds to a lot of us dudes who, I don't know, we're just weird, more eccentric, less concerned about appearances and more concerned about the meaning of life, the way things actually work outside of you know, the hierarchy, the system, and all that stuff. And that's what makes us brilliant in the technical realm. So we find that these types of corporate organizations are too little focused on people, vibe, community, the culture of a company that makes people feel valued and that they have input, that they're a part of something, and not just you know, another human resource in an organization that's going to pay them the salary and give them that good job and benefits package. We're more concerned about being in a place where we can actually do good work, feel cherished and valued for that good work, and feel like that we are accepted for who we are and what we have to offer, and that we don't have to constantly try to be something that we're not, which is, you know, what the corporate culture, you know, it suppresses individuality to present this sort of marketing friendly appearance of a profitable corporation, whatever it is. So in the interviews with candidates, we tend to feel that they have a very hands-off approach to interviews, where somebody will just have a script and they'll be following the script and, you know, kind of dispassionately, like without any sort of investment in it, just really like reading off the script and asking questions and ticking boxes on a check mark. You know, they're so concerned about certification of technicians, their experience with specific technologies, their corporate personality tests. And, you know, it ends up like sounding a lot more like an interrogation, a police interrogation style job interview, rather than, you know, people getting to know each other and trying to figure out if they're going to enjoy working with each other. And, you know, the companies that succeed in finding the best talent in tech really value the people and want to make them feel welcome, not make them feel like they're being interrogated. So there's a lack of rapport or actual human personality of the business in these corporate companies that we feel are failing in attracting the best MSP talent. You know, they've got a bunch of you know, people sitting around in a boardroom with some echoey like conference speaker sitting back in their chairs, speaking in a way that just like they're moving through the motions. They're just you know, some sort of corporate actor in a machine doing this interview. They've all got their roles. They're all sort of like told that they have to be in this meeting to like approve this new hire or whatever. You know, you got the HR department, you've got like the technical department, then you've got the sort of management, executive department, and they're all kind of sitting there, and nobody's really taking ownership of I'm going to hire this person because they're going to work really well in the position that I will mentor them for. They're all kind of like, we've got our corporate culture, these are our core values, you know, this is the benefits package, this is like the company's growth trajectory, and they don't really speak to the individual person. They're not really being themselves when they're saying these things, and there's this sort of depersonalization of the whole thing, and this will put off the best candidates, believe me. We've also seen that there's like too many rounds of interviews, like 3 rounds of interviews, whereas like the best placements that we have, there's 1 round of interview. Now, with Supportive Venture, we present videos of the people who are available to be interviewed for positions before, so you should know their personality, their credentials, and all this stuff before you speak with them. But the best placements we see, someone gets in there and they're the hiring person who makes the decision. This person I can work with. This person I feel intuitively comfortable with, so that I can take them under my wing and make a success of them in this company based on the structure we've set up for people like them doing good work in this company. There's so little of that in this corporate stuff. Nobody's able to hire on their gut. First of all, the candidates have to pass these personality tests before they even like get an interview, and they can be disqualified based on the personality test. Then it has to go through 3 levels of management who have to okay it, and then different people will judge based on different stuff. And we've seen lots of companies that have this sort of corporate convoluted hiring path really choose the wrong candidates and fail hard at getting someone good through our company. And it's like the middle management mentality. A middle manager is like their job is to report to management and please management, less than it is to actually like drive success in the company, to create because their job is dependent, their salary is dependent on pleasing the upper management, the executive level, rather than it is actually doing what they feel is intuitively right. Good companies will empower their middle management to do what they feel is right and give them some leeway to do that, but a lot of them don't, and it ends up just being like trying to tick the boxes, trying to justify things, and trying to drive the numbers or whatever. So nobody's hiring on their gut. Nobody's got skin in the game. Middle management usually just hires whoever ticks the boxes, whatever. They're not personally invested in it financially. Like they're not going to make more money if this person is a success or not. So they're trying to make the safe decision so that they don't, rock the boat in any way and displease the management in any way. So yeah, in essence, what I'm trying to say is there's no unified humanity in a lot of these corporate structures. It's just a corporate game that people are playing, and people are suppressing themselves, their own intuition, their own values, in order to sort of like appease these sorts of like nonsense corporate values that have been created on the organizational level that, nobody really, the moving parts are not really attached to these things. You can have a bunch of corporate nonsense for what we stand for, a bunch of sort of like, kind of things that you're supposed to believe, but nobody really knows what it means, but they kind of vaguely, in an abstract manner, they know what it means. And like they kind of try to embody that, but they don't really, because essentially what you've got is a bunch of individuals whose own humanity is disconnected from what it is they're doing in service of this corporate thing that pays them the same salary no matter what, and they just need to justify themselves to this upper management sort of culture. And lots of mistakes are made, and lots of decisions are made that would not be made if they were more hands-on and more engaged on a feeling level with the work that they're doing and the meaning behind it. And so this is why they will alienate the best people, and why they might not even choose to hire the best people who are presented to them. What do we see with companies that succeed? A more casual conversation. Stakeholders who know each other very well on a personal and professional level, and have found a way to have good social relationships. Now, I believe that it should be business first. You should hire the best person for your company and then be friends with them. And always maintain a bit of professional boundary with people, so that you're not too friendly and you're not sacrificing what's good for the business in your decision making. But you should be able to be friends with people, make jokes with them. You should be able to enjoy having a meal, a beer with the people you're working with, and actually like them as human beings. And like, I feel life is too short to work with people that you don't actually like. So, in Supportive Venture, I've really made an effort to filter out the clients that I didn't enjoy working with. It was like an obvious way to improve my quality of life as a business owner. A lot of that is about vibe. And so in technical hires, we see that the people interviewing want to know how the people they're interviewing think, how they deal with problems, how they engage themselves emotionally in the job. They look for emotional intelligence, social skills above all. They'll look for people who will fit in stylistically, communication style, emotionally, vibe-wise with the company that they've created around them. And so it can almost function like a really like tight sort of like family dynamic a little bit, where people intuitively trust each other and don't have to use convoluted or abstract corporate ideas to govern people around them. That there's a certain amount of emotional trust, there's a certain amount of common sense and communication, sub-communication, nonverbal communication about how things should be dealt with and how people should relate with each other. And you want to find people who fit in with that. And ultimately, like the companies that hire the best people, they'll look at all the credentials, all the experience, all that stuff, but they'll hire on a feeling. They will hire on a feeling like, I intuitively feel that this person will fit into our company, therefore they deserve a shot. And then all of the stuff is secondary. All of the other stuff is secondary. So, you know, they're selling their company as well. Like the tech dudes are highly in demand all around the world, the ones that are actually going to deliver, not the ones who have the credentials, but the ones who have the results. And you have to sell your company to them. And if you're not selling, like a lot of these corporate companies are kind of arrogant in the way that they approach potential staff. They're looking down on them, the interrogation style job interview and all that sort of stuff. They're looking down on them, and that will alienate the most intelligent candidates who are looking for a little bit more than being looked down on, to have condescending bosses who only care about the bottom line. The best bosses out there and the best managers out there know that the bottom line is always made better by people who are happy in their jobs, who feel included in the company, who feel that they have a relationship with the company that goes beyond just like results and work and tasks and showing up, but that they're actually cared about as human beings. So yeah, it's off-putting to have like these values and language which amount to basically corporate nonsense thrown around in a dehumanizing way. A lot of the time, these big corporate structures have really like unclear positions, unclear sort of like roles that are defined by this sort of like corporate nonsense speak. You know, like different sort of like standards and stuff that they're trying to uphold. It's unclear what the tangible hands-on result of these positions and what these values governing the company are all about. And you know, from that, there's this sort of convoluted thing where everybody's walking on eggshells, and it eventually means that people are so disconnected from the hands-on and emotional, realistic emotional connotations of working the job that, you know, it's just off-putting. Because like if you're trying to get a job and you can't really figure out what the company's all about because they have a bunch of nonsense corporate speak behind their values in the role description, and you know, like you don't really feel any humanity behind that. You just feel like you've got this like ball of corporate nonsense that they're purporting to live by in interviews, where you can feel that they're not actually engaged or interested in this. They're just parroting this corporate nonsense. You're not going to be interested in working there. And these companies will end up hiring people based on their resume, based on their experience that's listed on their resume, their education, their certification, all that sort of stuff. And they will miss out on the best tech talent. So thanks a lot. This was MSP Mountain. If you're interested in this content, subscribe to our channel. And Supportive Venture is my company, and we do MSP staffing. And I hope this was helpful. And if you want us to help you staff your company, we've got lots of requests for clients. We're overwhelmed by client requests right now, but supportiveventure.com is where you would find that information. on how to become a client. And the best clients who have the best values and the best ability to attract the best staff through our platform and the best environment for those people to work in, they still make it through as clients. But we've put in lots of booby traps to make sure that the people who will not attract the best talent and will present a nonsense corporate environment where technicians will not thrive, they're not going to get through. So I hope this video was helpful, and we'll catch you later.